A lot of people think that Gavin Newsom, the California governor, is pulling a little Grinch here because he is not holding a public Capitol Christmas tree lighting because of all these protests that have been going on in California, a disproportionate number of them, particularly around where the lighting is supposed to take place. A lot of them of the pro-Palestinian variety. So rather than fight with that, he's just going to make this an automatic thing, no public tree lighting. Do it from a switch in the governor's mansion. I don't know how they do that there. How would they do that, Navy? Do you know? I guess flip a switch. Sure. All right. Alveda King joins us right now, Fox News contributor, the niece of Dr. Martin Luther King, and of course, the daughter of A.D. King. Always an honor to have you. Alveda, what do you think of this? No Christmas tree lighting because we don't want to mess with possible protests.
Come on now, Neil. Let me say Merry Christmas. And if the governor hears that, he'll probably go into a panic. And he is being a Grinch. He really is Mr. Grinch, governor, in that, okay, Merry Christmas. We have our traditions. We have our Christmas trees, and that's okay. So if he's in abject fear and terror of protesters, or if he wants to have crazy compassion and respect, he doesn't even say which protesters or what protesters. So you throw out a whole tradition that impacts the economy as well, because if people are sad or afraid and they don't want to do their Christmas shopping, not that I'm saying that we should just be so concerned about buying presents and all that, we do that. But the spirit of love and compassion is connected to it. So he is being a Grinch. It makes no sense, Neil.
I was surprised by it. I mean, we're looking at images from last year when he did. Of course, we didn't have protests going on at the time. I get that. Maybe he's concerned, looked at what happened in New York when they lit the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree here. There were pro-Palestinian groups protesting. It did, lead to a little raucous affair. It obviously disrupted somewhat the lighting, but kids still enjoyed the big event. Santa was there. Yeah. So that people got through this and dealt with this, not happily, I might point out, but to avoid that or to try to get away from that for fear of something like that being repeated, don't you more or less give in to the hate?
You give in to the hate. And when you kick faith, hope, and love out the door, when you take prayer out of schools in 63 and all those things that we've done, it sets a pre-course of fear and doubt and rage and anger, and it can't be answered. The only answer, and you've heard me say this many times, many ways, from my dad, A.D. King, Daddy King, my granddad, Martin Luther King Jr., it's got to be faith. It has to be hope. It has to be love. So if you tear down our real traditions, not just a Christmas tree, but when you tear down America's real traditions of faith, of charity, of generosity, of morals and values, when you take those away, you are going to have all the protests and everything. And don't tell me it has something to do with poverty. If people weren't poor, they wouldn't be acting this way. I'm 73 years old, and I've lived in lean times and generous times. But it is not poverty that makes us evil, hateful, and fearful. And so he is saying there may be some protests and people may be upset, so no Christmas trees. When you take away that tree, you're saying no Christmas. When you take away Jesus Christ and the story of Christ, the truth of Christ, there is no Christmas. And so that's absolutely what he's saying. And are people rolling over and accepting it?
Yeah, you're right. It does, to hearken to the significance of your remarks, so me of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, when Santa wanted to cancel Christmas because of a little snow and ice, that was a separate issue. And someone told me apparently it was not quite presented the way it should have been. But I do want to ask you this in your wonderful family, because there are those of all political views. And one of the things I find so uplifting about your family, and you in particular, Alveda, is those are all put aside. You get together, you have a wonderful holiday together. You're not throwing food at each other. You have your disagreements, never disagreeably. That's the way it should be, all the time, not just at the holidays.
Well, to my own family and then to my extended family, we do not argue and fuss and debate over politics. Don't let politics divide you. I was with a group of women yesterday called She Leads. She Leads America, She Leads Georgia. We have different political views. We have different skin color. We have different philosophies. and we have different shoe sizes. But we did not fight, we did not argue, and we were able to find a conversation and an opportunity to celebrate faith, to celebrate hope, celebrate love. And when we do this, we don't have to be afraid. I hope somebody sends this to Governor Grinch Newsom. I really do. I do.
Alveda, you're the best. Always enjoy and get a lot out of talking to you. So do our viewers, for good reason.
Thank you, my friend.
You are a good
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, Alveda
Yeah.
King. That, my friends, is a genuine article. We will have more after this.